Ndị be anyị ndewonu. Ọ bụ Ada Igbo na-ekwu na Igbo Media. N'Igbo Media, anyị na-ewetara unu ọtụtụ ozi gbasara ihe na-emegasị na Biafra land, n'ala Igbo na mba ndị ọzọ. N'ụbọchị nke taata, o nwere ihe bịara n'iru akwụkwọ anyị nke anyị ga-agụpụtara unu n'ụbọchị taa. Anyị gụpụtachaa ya, unu egee ya ka ọha n'uju. Ị ga-esie ya, ị drọpụọla your comment, like kwa this our video and gbasakwa ya ka o ruo ụmụnna anyị n'ebe dị iche iche arụ. Ozi anyị wetara unu tata si n'aka otu nwanne anyị nwoke, a Biafra activist. Dịka o si wetara ya ozi ya n'iru akwụkwọ, ọ dere sị: breaking news, Nnamdi Kanu escaped Tinubu'S trap to convict him of terrorism, refuse court trial. Ya bụ ozi ka anyị ji bịa tata na Igbo Media. Ị ga-esi ya bụ ozi, gbaa mbọ gwa anyị iche ma mekwa ka ozi alụta ụmụnna anyị n'ebe dị iche iche aka. Ngwa gere ya ka ọha n'uju.
Sincere, I repeat, I want to be very, very sincere with this Nnamdi Kanu's case. At the moment, it is very, very difficult for Tinubu'S government to release Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. With the way the case is now, it is very difficult for the government to release Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's case with Nigerian government is complicated. The word there is complicated. We should have avoided Nnamdi Kanu being kidnapped in Kenya by the Nigerian government. That is one of the gravest mistakes that we have made, the IPOB people have made. Nigerian government having access to Nnamdi Kanu in Kenya and bringing him to Nigeria, because don't expect that you will get justice under this system. The Nigerian government cannot even give its own people justice. It is somebody who they hate that they will give justice. Don't expect that, because I see so many people believing that Nnamdi Kanu will come out. Let's look at the case. Now, the only thing holding the federal government from convicting Nnamdi Kanu, like convicting him, is the government cannot explain how they were able to bring him from Kenya into Nigeria. The allegation is that the federal government kidnapped Nnamdi Kanu, and that is where his counsel dwelt for so long, asking the federal government, prove to us, you cannot try Nnamdi Kanu, prove to us that this how you brought in this young man here. The government would say that he jumped bail. How did he jump bail? But you people went to his house. That was the argument. So they were stuck at that point, whereby the government is demanding that he must be tried. He committed terrorism. He attacked the government. He killed. He did all have you. But the Nnamdi Kanu Council were asking the government various questions, and we should have stayed here. We should have stayed here for us to accept that the prosecution council would tender its evidence. For us to go from asking the Nigerian government, how did Nnamdi Kanu, why did you kidnap Nnamdi Kanu? Because he that must come to equity must come with clean hands. So the federal government at this moment had no jurisdiction to try Nnamdi Kanu, because literally, look at what the Kenya government said. Literally, you went to Kenya and kidnapped somebody, and you are taking that person to court. You kidnap somebody. What jurisdiction, what morality, what right do you have to try that person when you committed a capital crime by kidnapping somebody in another country, in somebody else's soil? So that is where the argument stayed. From that place, I don't know how they convinced the council representing Nnamdi Kanu to start looking at how they are going to entertain prosecution evidence, presenting evidence against Nnamdi Kanu. Now, for them to defend now, it is a problem. For them to defend, let me tell you the gospel truth. We have made so many mistakes in this Biafra struggle, and it is not out of fashion. Yes, we are all human beings. We can make things right. Nnamdi Kanu is in a very, very dicey situation, I tell you. Now, why did he sack or let his lawyers go and let him defend himself? He's looking for a motion. He's trying to set up the Nigerian government so that it will be clear that the Nigerian government is persecuting him, that justice did not go. Because if you allow that case to move on from where it is now, from the prosecution tendering his evidence, and you come to defend, they will jail Nnamdi Kanu. That is the reality. You see, it is not about emotions now. You see, when people use emotions, they fall into deeper pit. This is the reality. That is why you see there is a protest before the prosecution council will do whatever. That protest is strategic to whip sentiment, because if you continue this case like this, there's no defense you want to put forward that the government will not find a way to find Nnamdi Kanu guilty. Should be not the Nigerian government. And the Nigerian government, we all are saying that the judiciary is messed up. So this system, do you think that if really they wanted to do justice, to do justice with Nnamdi Kanu's case, Nnamdi Kanu should not be in the court in the first place. The Nigerian government, for kidnapping Nnamdi Kanu, reportedly, should be even paying Nnamdi Kanu, but the reverse is the case. They played. Buhari tried to name Nnamdi Kanu, but because they could not prove, Buhari's government could not prove, Binta Yanko and the government of Buhari, Malami Yanko, could not prove that they brought Nnamdi Kanu legally into Nigeria. They could not. The court says, free this guy. They went to Supreme Court to overturn. If the government wanted to free Nnamdi Kanu, it is a small thing. But now it is dicey. If Nnamdi Kanu continues this case, 70% chance is that they may sentence Nnamdi Kanu. That is the bitter truth and reality. It is not about Zobu breaking bottles left, right, center. Some of us, our brain they work, and we tell ourselves the truth. I told you, me, I'm a full-fledged Biafra. I want restructuring of Nigeria. And one of the reasons why I want restructuring, because restructuring will get us closer to having regionalism. Regionalism, then we can decide what we'll do with our future. Going to the farm, you don't go to the farm through one route. There are other ways you can achieve an Igbo nation or Biafra. I'm a Biafran person. I'm proud. If the Yoruba man can say it's Oduduwa, if the Hausa man can say it's Arewa, me, I'm a full-fledged. Everywhere I go, I carry it as a banner. I don't hide it. But that does not mean that when I see a particular situation, my brother, until something else happens, I stand to be corrected. I don't know everything. I'm just telling you what I see from the case. I'm not a judge. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a senior advocate. But I'm telling you what I noticed. The evidence presented in court. Do you know that there are so many videos with the DSS? I saw a video with one Onyami. Onyami was saying that, when they catch these people, these politically sponsored criminals in the southeast who mark themselves as IPB and what have you, when some people have an opportunity to pursue agitation, they use the opportunity to use that privilege for them to fight for Biafra, to do other criminal activities. And when they are being caught, they tag Nnamdi Kanu. Most of these guys on video, the DSS may not want to release everything, but they have videos that these guys are saying Nnamdi Kanu is this and that. So why would we allow ourselves to get in this place the first time, whereby we are asked to come and defending something that the government of the day does not have a jurisdiction? You have not proven to us that they legally brought Nnamdi Kanu into Nigeria. So you overlook that one, and you're going to defend what? Defend what? We have not got to do that. If the government can sincerely own to its fault, then my hands are up. Whatever it is, let me tell you, your perception. I've said it before. We have the Nigerian army, we have the Biafran army. Those in the Nigerian army see the Biafran army as terrorists. Those in the Biafran army see the Nigerian army as terrorists. It depends where you are standing. Two different nations. They have two different ideologies. It depends where you are standing from and you're looking from or looking to. Our today's politics, it is when my brother enter power, then I'll look for a way to amass Nigerian resources to benefit my own ethnic group. So in the eyes of my ethnic group, whether we steal, whether it's corruption, whether we are stealing, whether we are misappropriating, whether we are taking people's resources to develop ourselves against the development of others, it is right in our eyes. It depends on which ethnic group you belong to. That is the logic. Buhari as president, you saw the Fulani telling you that protest is haram. Protest, Fulani that is crying today, Fulani that even came out en masse during the End Bad Governance protest. So it depends where you are standing from. If you are an Igbo person that supports Biafra, because I don't see any reason why you think Biafra is not a good project. I don't see any reason. Nigeria is not working, cannot work. Nigeria is destroying the destinies of people. And you don't expect me to support a creation of the colonial masters, whereby they bring you together, they limit you, you fight yourself, and they upon that fight you are fighting yourself, they are stealing your resources. Yes, they are stealing your resources. So it depends where you are looking from. But the mistake that was made by IPOB, you see, Nnamdi Kanu was missing for days, and you could not tell the people that this is where Nnamdi Kanu was at a particular point in time. You could not allow the people until Malami broke the news in Hausa language that they have captured Nnamdi Kanu. The IPOB aroused. That mistake was one of the gravest mistake ever. The gravest mistake ever. So when I see people say we must defeat the Nigerian government, my brother, it is not emotion. It is not online troll. The forces that are holding Nnamdi Kanu is bigger than Tinubu himself. The only way Tinubu can muzzle his power to release Nnamdi Kanu or have a political solution, that is my own speculation. I'm not an authority in that. I'm coming to give you my own speculation. What I think is when the Fulani or they want to collect power from his hand anyhow, then he says, okay, let's divide the country. He releases Nnamdi Kanu, and there's so much pressure on Nigeria to divide. He releases Nnamdi Kanu, he activates Sunday Igboho, and some other groups is activated. Nigeria will now have a position and stand. Yes, and regionalism comes into play. Yes, if you know the powers, even in the southeast, we have said it before that the governors will not want Nnamdi Kanu to be released, because Nnamdi Kanu's release now, they become relevant. Whether Nnamdi Kanu accept the conditions, because I believe there are conditions that is being presented to Nnamdi Kanu. I believe these conditions, they want him to drop the idea of a Biafra, because even a P2B becomes president today, you see, the interest of Nigeria is even above the interest of any other country. That is why Wike's wife having dual citizenship is a big problem. The Supreme Court judge, Wike's wife, they say I think is American, or is it Canada or UK citizen. Where does your, as a Nigerian judge, where does your interest lie? As a Nigerian politician, where does your interest lie? You are a citizen of two countries. So even though P2B becomes the president, it will be very, very difficult for P2B to just release him like that. I'm telling you. You see, imagine the president Bola Ahmed Tinubu releases Nnamdi Kanu. Now that time you go no say this coup where they want to do, that the security agencies are telling us they are even misleading us. You know what I don't like about Nigeria is that the Nigerian government, they have all the tools, they have all the information with them, but they will decide to keep quiet and mislead the people, put the people in the dark. It is when journalists and analysts try to look at the body language of the government and try to bring out some realities. That's when you see them, they will come out and say, this is how it is. But you have the information to alert Nigerians, tell Nigerians the reality. You just be playing Nigerians, misleading Nigerians. My brother, the coup was real in the sense that people were arrested. They will play down on it. Classified information. You saw that information that the DSS gave to the Nigerian army, that the ISWAP is coming to attack Ondo and Kogi states. The security agencies were angry that they leaked that information. This is an information that they got intel, although I understand why they were angry. You see, if Tinubu decides to release Nnamdi Kanu today, my brother, you go see commando style of the Fulani and some elements that want Nigeria to remain the same way it is. Your politicians really don't want Nigeria to be structured until they are under pressure. I'm telling you, the West does not want Nigeria to be restructured. Restructuring has many meanings, whether it is resource control, whether it is regionalism, whether it is fiscal federalism, whether it is division of Nigeria. Restructuring is restructuring. It depends on which angle you are looking at it from. The West don't want Nigeria to be restructured. Igbo leaders don't want, Igbo leaders on Hanese, forget all this blabbering. They are blabbering up and down. They don't want Nnamdi Kanu to be released. They don't like restructuring, because restructuring in Nigeria will relieve some people of their position in current day Nigeria. If Nigeria is divided today, Akpabio will not be Senate President of the Federal Republic. Wike will not be Wike. If they just divide Nigeria today or something happens and there's a consensus, referendum, people speak, and ongoing processes are going on to separate states and